Hello, ladies. We are live. I am live. And this is the first longer live I do, so I'm quite excited to share this with you and see how this works. Bear with me if I don't see comments. I think I will see them, and I think I will see if someone's online, but if I don't see it, I'll have a look in between and at the end. But I had the idea for this live because I do get a lot of questions about the whole sign-up process, how it works from, why having the sign-up boxes. Quite a few people lately have told me they find it a bit like sleazy and salesy and they don't like it. Hello, Georgia. Thanks for being online. I can see your comments, so that's great. That's one relief for the live experience that I can see the comments. So I wanted to just clarify a little bit, first of all, why we have sign-up boxes and why it doesn't need to be salesy sleazy, why sometimes it's really good to have like a little free gift, and how we can make the best possible designs so that people actually see our boxes, and where to place them. And of course, lastly, how they should behave, because we are probably all kind of annoyed at all these pop-up sign-up boxes that are there. And I'll explain about these pop-ups, whether it's good or not, and how it's the best way to use them to really get conversion without being annoying. So let's get started. I'm going to, first of all, just explain what a sign-up box is for those who are completely new. It is basically the kind of, on the website, when you come into websites, you often see this little form that asks you to leave your name and email address so that you can get updates on their blog or newsletter or mailing list. That is basically what it is. And I also want to explain why it's actually good to have one. Because when you think about it, when visitors come to your website, you have hopefully a lot of people who really like what they see. They really feel that you understand them and their problem and that you have a solution that they might be interested in. But what happens is that if it's the first time they see your website and they don't really know much about you yet, for a lot of people, it's not so comfortable to right away contact you, because what does it mean for them? Do they need to commit to anything? Do they start a process they're not ready for? Or maybe they're not just really ready to make that commitment. They're just doing some research right now about what kind of help they can get for the problem. So for you, that means, of course, you might have a lot of visitors that like what you do, but you don't know that they've been there. And the reason we have these sign-up boxes is to try to make these people who really like what they see to leave some kind of trace that they've been on your site and they liked what they saw. And this is really the reason for the sign-up box. The challenge, though, is that, people don't really want to leave their email address. Not always, because they're afraid of spam, or they, don't want to download viruses. There's a lot of people with different levels of technology and knowing how the online world works. So people are a bit reluctant to give their email address. Their inbox is already full. So, why would I want to give it? So this is the important thing for you, to actually give them the idea of the value. Why would they want to give their email address? If they get one of these flash in the face, sign up to my newsletter, why would they want to? Hello, Maria Isabel. Thank you for joining in. Why would they really want to stay in touch with you and get your emails? So it's not enough to say what I see on a lot of websites. It just says, sign up to my newsletter and give me your first name, last name, and email address. And it doesn't really transmit well. Why would I want to sign up to your newsletter? What is it in it for me? And I usually recommend people to avoid using the word newsletter in relation to their sign-up box, because it's still a bit associated with, company updates, which are usually boring information about the progress of some kind of corporate environment and what has happened. And of course, online, with the kind of businesses that we have, we don't send boring stuff at all. Ideally, what we send is information that is really valuable to our potential clients and to our website visitors. And we need to transmit that in the actual opt-in box. You need to tell them, why would you want to get my next blog? why would you want to have my emails in your inbox? And one thing is, of course, to transmit the value just with the words you use to try to get to have them leave their name and email address. But we also use what is called an opt-in gift. It's also called a lead magnet. It's called a freebie. I think I heard once as well that someone called it like a free taste. And I kind of like that free taste idea, because it's to take away this sensation from many that it's a sleazy thing. Rather think, okay, I have a visitor here who is interested in what I can do for them. So if you think about, okay, I would like to have their email address. So what can I give to them for free? What am I willing to give to them for free? There is a little piece of solution to the problem they have. I'm not going to go in this webinar about opt-in ideas. If you need that, and especially if you're a life coach, Krista in this group who helps life coaches to get their business started, she had a live about that in her Facebook group. So if you need some ideas, then I recommend that you actually look at that. But I'm just going to have a look here at, how to work the mindset of your visitor, to have a call to action that really tells them, yeah, sign up here and this is what you get. This is the value you get. To give you a specific example, on my website, for example, I have the website planner, and it really educates my visitors on what they need to think about to create a website that really connects with the visitors and make them want to stay in touch with you and convert on all these small elements and strategies that you need to have in place. And I think that's useful for everyone who needs a website to first just understand how you can use your website to make those visitors that come, actually some of them to convert them into clients. Okay, I'm just going to check my list here to make sure I stay on topic. Yes. So why we have a box, exactly. What's the advantage of the opt-in gift? And yes, for the actual design. Oh, I've seen quite a few websites where the opt-in box is so simple. It's probably just embedded with the code that someone got from MailChimp or whatever marketing service you use, that says the typical sign up to my newsletter, name and email. And it's just white, and it's sometimes placed down in a corner and nobody sees it, and it's not really exciting. Thinking about that you actually want your visitors to stay in touch with you by leaving their email address, you want to make your sign up box or button quite visible. You don't need to make it annoying. I'm going to cover that up next, but to actually make it visually pleasing, which means use one of your brand colors that stand out a little bit. And I would say as well, to have a clear call to action to make sure that people really perceive the value as I covered, and to put it in a place that people see it. And that means not to put it at the very bottom of the page. I see quite a few sign-up boxes. You don't see them until you scroll all the way down. And some people actually don't scroll all the way down. I keep saying that attention span is short online, is getting shorter and shorter. So I recommend for placement of your sign-up to be above the fold. And that means the part of the website that people see on the homepage that you see before you start scrolling. So for the people who don't like to scroll, they will still see, this is what I want you to do, this is the value I bring, leave your email address here. And as well, I see a lot of opt-in boxes in the sidebar. There are, I looked at my own statistics as well, there are very, very few people who actually sign up in the sidebar. The sidebar is a tendency that they start to be removed from many web pages. And most people use sidebar now actually just on the blog page, because now the modern look is really these long scrolling style pages. And a lot of people still have sidebars, but it feels too cluttered and it's not so effective to have your opt-in box there. What I do recommend though is to have, well, as I said, one on the home page that is visible before you scroll down, and to have a sign-up box as well at the end of your blog post, so that the people who really enjoyed what you wrote in your blog post or article, they might be interested in receiving the next one as well and to get a notification in their inbox. So that's another place to place it. But that brings us to the behavior, because we can have the embedded form that was what everyone used before. You basically have your text, and within the text you have the little form asking for the email and the name. What happens now, I think that people have gotten a bit blind to forms. They see the form, but they kind of filter it out and they just scroll over it. And then people started with the pop-ups to make sure that people really see. They're like, listen, here is my sign up. And that is really annoying. So it's all about finding a balance. I think in some places the embedded form might still work, but I have two favorites in terms of behavior. And one is the one I call click to pop up. That means that people don't actually see the form, but they see a button saying, on my site, for example, saying get the free website planner. When they click on that button, then yes, they get a pop-up that asks for their mail and their name. And also, again, reinforces the value with a nice graphic and a few sentences. Not too much. We try always to keep it short and clean everywhere on the website nowadays to make sure people don't get overwhelmed or distracted and go away and look at something else. We want them to stay on our websites as long as possible. And what I think happens with the click to pop up, that some people might click the button for the free gift or for the sign up, thinking they will get something right away. And they already have in their mind, yeah, I already have this website planner in my hand. And then they click and they're like, oh yeah, here's the catch. Okay, I need to give my email address. But at that point, it's not annoying anymore because they clicked for something they wanted and they realized, okay, it wasn't entirely for free. It does cost me my email address. But of course, they can always unsubscribe if they don't want it. So I just see it helps much more. It has much higher conversion, the click to pop up, than the embedded form. And the other advantage is, of course, it takes less space on your visual page. So if you imagine, if you go to my homepage, I'll just put my homepage here for those who want to see the real example in the comments. You see on the homepage that I just have this oval that says get the website planner. And that takes much less space than a whole form that already asks for the name and the email and so forth. And secondly, this button can be put usually anywhere. If you usually have to use a plugin to have this kind of pop-up sign-up boxes. But for that little code you can add that on your About page, on your Work With Me page, wherever you want, you can add that little code and have that pop-up show up when people click. So you can strategically think about which other places on my website does it fit to have this kind of, guys, listen, I have this great thing for you, sign up. And always put it in somewhere where it kind of flows naturally with what you're talking about. Maybe you have some blog posts as well. I have one specific blog post which is meant to bring leads. And 2 times in the blog post, it's natural for me to say, hey, if you want some more information about this, you can get my free gift, click here. So that's another great thing with the click to pop up. The second pop-up that I do like, that I also don't find annoying, is the kind that I like to use on blog pages, on the blog post itself. So when people have been reading your whole article, it doesn't show up until the very, very end. First of all, that people have read your whole article means to you that this might be a quality lead. They were really interested in what you were saying. And the pop-up will come after they finished reading. It doesn't interrupt their reading. Very often you see people have the pop-up that shows up after 5 seconds or 10 seconds, or that shows up after people have scrolled 20% or 50% of the page. I still think that's a bit annoying. I don't even look at the pop-ups, I just close them. Some people it does work for sometimes the wrong reasons, because a lot of people actually don't know how to get rid of that window, especially if it's covering the whole screen. And they think the only way to get away from it is to fill in the name and email address. And that is not a quality lead. That is a person who just didn't know better. And we have to keep in mind as well, a lot of people online are not so savvy yet about how everything works. So ideally, I would like to wait anyway until the very end, where people are finished reading and it pops up. And the very, very last one I do like as well, it's the one called Exit Pop-up. That means that when people are navigating your site and they're finished, they want to leave, and they move their mouse towards the cross to close the window, the website registers the movement that, okay, this person is about to leave, and now I will show the pop-up. So that also means you're not actually interrupting any action that they do on your website, And if they just want to go and keep closing the page, they just close the page. And if they think, oh yeah, that's true, before I go, actually I want to keep in touch, they can fill it in. But you don't have that moment of, oh, this is annoying, this is interrupting me, or this is coming before I even know who you are. So let's see, I'm going to just have a look at the comments since I've been talking for a while here. Because my blogs are amazing, Jodia. Yes, your blogs are amazing. They are unique and entertaining. Transmit my value. Yes, exactly. So very well. Short and clean. Yes, this is exactly what you want. Oh, someone's sending flowers. That's so cute. Thank you. I didn't know that Facebook had small flowers. And let me just check my notes. I think there was one more thing I really wanted to say. Behaviors. Not that exactly nice. Exactly professional. Oh yes, of course. Oh, I should have said this in the beginning. The great thing, you know, also about people leaving their email address, going back to my very first point, talking about, okay, you want to give them something of value. They should feel that they want to sign up to your mailing list because you bring them something. When you think about the people who liked what they saw, but they weren't quite ready to commit, when they leave their email address, first of all, you know that they were there. You know who they are. So you have now an opportunity to keep in touch with them. And not only to keep in touch with them, keep reminding them that you're there for them and that you bring that kind of service that you know they need, that the moment comes that they think, okay, I'm ready to make a commitment to work with someone, you will be on top of their mind. If you did not keep in touch with them, what happens, of course, the moment they feel they're ready to commit to someone to help them, they might have someone else that they go to, or they can't find back to your website, or they can't really, you know, they have a lot of people to choose between. Ideally, you want to be the person, the very first person they think about when they're ready to commit. And you do that by sending regular emails after they have signed up. And also through those emails, you build up your trust and credibility, keep bringing them small pieces of value that start to make them feel that, yeah, I start to like this person, I start to really get to know this person and really get a good feel of the services that that person can provide, and, you know, have them want to contact you when they get to that point. That's really, really important. So going really back to what makes a sign-up box successful, it's what I've been talking about today, a bit about where you place it, the way it looks, that is nice and professional with a clear call to action and a clear value that it brings, and also how it behaves. Even if we have all these things in place, what is important is that you actually know what your audience needs, which also is a whole different topic. It's more about market research, maybe working with a business coach, that you know that the gift that you need, it really needs to be something that you know that your visitor really feel that it's like, yeah, this will help me on the first steps to solve my problem. I know, you know, I have Georgia here online, and she's a writer and speaker, and it's really about, you know, as we have talked about Georgia, it's like what these people who want to step up and stand out and to start to speak, what is their first problem? This is what I would ask, like, what is the first problem they want to overcome? And we talked a bit about this, and this is what should be reflected in the gifts. Like, here, I give you step number 1 first, here for free. Have a little taste of what I can do for you and my knowledge and what I can give to you. This is what you need to keep in mind, and you need to really get to know your audience. Ideally, go out and talk to people and ask them, and even check out your opt-in gift. Have an idea and ask people, would you give your email address for this? Check it out. Be really connected with the people that you want to work with, because eventually that's what it all comes down to. It doesn't matter if your opt-in is in the right place and behaving perfectly and looking great, if the stuff that you offer is not something that your audience think, yep, this is something I need. So keep that in mind as well. It's more of a business topic, but I do mention it because, of course, I also do the online business consulting and giving a lot of advice on this and seeing lots of different things. And eventually it takes some time to get to know your audience and find out what they want, but always keep changing and working it as you get to know more and more. My opt-in has for sure changed 4 times since I started. Sometimes not so much the content, a little bit. I changed the name, tried different call to actions, and eventually really got into this with the click to pop-up and exit pop-up. And tell everyone online what kind of free gift you have. Say, hey, I have this free thing on my website. Don't forget that. I forgot that for a long time until I was like, oh, I have to tell people about this, you know? It's not enough to have the website. You got to tell people, hey, look at it. It's amazing. I have great stuff here. Go on social media, go in meetings, and just spread the word about it. And the free gift is a great start, you know, something that you give away for free and really starts to spread that word. So what's up here? Ideas for a good lead magnet. That's a question from Maria Isabel. Yes, well, I don't cover it so much because it depends on your market, but you work with legal stuff, and I'm sure things like a checklist can be really helpful sometimes for people to understand. I remember I asked you specifically about this, like, do you have a checklist of what I need to think about as a solopreneur having my online business? What do I need to make sure that I have in place? Where do I need to be registered? What kind of legal documents do I need on my website? And all of these things. Yes, you are answering me now. We're in communication. So for you, it might be a checklist. What are the questions? Think about that. What are the questions that people ask you when you are in networking events, when people realize what to do? Those first questions they ask you is a great indication of what you can create for them that will start to answer some of these very initial questions they have. And Georgia here saying, you are convincing me. Yes, that's great. And knowing what they want, exactly. Okay, get that emotional connection. Oh, you've been doing your homework. I talk a lot about creating an emotional response with your content, an emotional connection with your website visitors, because that's always what makes them want to read more. A lot of people go straight to talking about solutions, but I always notice that if first you connect with my emotions, and that means you make me feel that you know my problem and you know my feelings around this, then I feel like, oh, this person understands me, and you want to read more. I mean, we're all human. I think we all have this biggest need to be understood, and that's something you can really use in your favor in your website, with your content, with your opt-in, and to connect with your visitors and make them want to stay a bit longer. It's, you know, it's all a challenge to make people stay around for a long time. And read everything. We want them to read everything, but it doesn't always happen. Too many distractions in the world, so we gotta really get to the core of their problem and get their attention really quick and stay on it. So, Maria Isabel says, great advice. Okay, I'm happy for that. I'm not gonna keep this longer. I think 23 minutes. Yes, more or less on time for what I had in mind. So I will say thank you to the ones who were online and the ones who will be catching the replay. I learned from Georgia that's CTR. It's the new short way for that. Please keep adding comments and ask questions. And if you need help with this process of setting up your opt-in and understanding a bit how you can design it and make it behave on your website, if you need help with it, of course, please contact me. I do this quite a lot for my clients, and I'm used to using all kind of different tools to get that started. So I can adapt to your email marketing service that you already have in place. I can recommend which plugins to use for this. And yeah, always happy to get this stuff started. It's very exciting how to grow the business and learn more and more how we can connect with our visitors and turn them into clients. That's always what we want. Very well, guys. Who else is here? Who else is here? I see a third like. Before I log off, I'm going to have a look at that because I'm curious. Ooh, Beatrice. Very nice. Okay, chicas. I will wrap up. And that's it, I think. Yeah, thanks for joining. And see you next time. I will be doing some more Facebook Lives now that I got started. So great. Have a good evening, everyone, and enjoy. And, you know, go pop up those boxes and get subscribers going. Bye.